You may have spent years trying to make things happen in your life. You set goals, repeat affirmations, visualize outcomes, and yet, somehow, the results never quite match the effort you put in. There's a lingering frustration, a subtle dissatisfaction, a quiet voice inside that asks, why does it feel like everyone else is moving forward while I'm stuck? And in that feeling, in that space between desire and reality, many of us look outward, searching for answers in books, gurus, rituals, or the latest self-help trend, hoping for a shortcut, a formula, or even a little magic. What if I told you that you've been looking in the wrong direction this whole time? What if manifestation isn't about doing more, trying harder, or summoning some mystical force from outside yourself? What if it's simpler than you think? So simple that the very idea of magic might be distracting you from what is truly happening beneath the surface of your life. In this video, we're going to explore a different perspective, one that blends timeless spiritual wisdom with the surprising insights of quantum understanding. We're going to step into a space where creation is not forced, where manifestation isn't a struggle, and where you can begin to recognize that the power to shift your reality has always been quietly within you. You don't need spells, chants, or secret techniques. You don't need to follow the latest trend or pattern in the manifestation community. You don't need magic. What you need is alignment. Alignment with yourself, your feelings, and the energy of the life you wish to experience. Imagine for a moment the difference between the old way you approach life and the new way we're about to explore together. The old way is filled with effort, frustration, and chasing outcomes that often feel just out of reach. You may have tried countless methods, only to realize that the harder you push, the more resistance you feel. That's the contrast between the reality most of us live in and the reality that's waiting for you, the reality of effortless creation, of quiet confidence, of intuitive knowing. In this space, manifestation is no longer about doing and forcing. It becomes about observing, feeling, and intentionally tuning yourself to the vibration of what you desire. You begin to notice subtle shifts. Opportunities appear with less effort, synchronicities become more frequent, and the life you've imagined starts to feel less like a dream and more like a tangible reality you can step into. What makes this approach different is that it respects the intelligence of your inner world. Instead of trying to control every outcome, it encourages you to cultivate awareness, to recognize the power of your thoughts and emotions, and to trust in the natural unfolding of your reality. You are not at the mercy of chance or circumstance. You are an active participant in the creation of your life. And yet, unlike what you might have believed, this participation doesn't require struggle. It requires understanding, presence, and subtle practice. By the end of this video, you'll have a clear sense of how manifestation really works, why the old methods often fail, and how you can shift from a place of striving to a place of ease. You'll begin to see the patterns of your old self, the one caught in doubt, fear, and resistance, and you'll learn how to gently step into a new version of yourself, the one that knows the truth, that manifestation is not complicated, it's not mystical, and it's not reserved for a select few. It's a natural process available to anyone who is willing to align with the principles that govern reality itself. So take a deep breath, allow yourself to relax, and open your mind to the possibility that everything you've been taught about manifestation might be just the surface. Beneath that surface lies a world of simplicity, clarity, and profound potential. Here in this space we will explore the foundations of quantum manifestation, uncover the hidden mechanics of reality, and reveal how you can begin to shift your life in ways that feel effortless, joyful, and deeply aligned with who you truly are. The journey begins now, and it begins with a simple yet radical realization. You do not need magic. You simply need to understand the language of your own consciousness and learn to flow with it, rather than against it. For as long as many of us can remember, we've been told that manifestation is something extraordinary, almost magical, reserved for those with special abilities, secret knowledge, or rare talents. We see social media posts showing overnight success, videos promising miraculous results, or books claiming that if we simply repeat the right words, our lives will transform instantly. And it's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that these kinds of results require something beyond our reach, an external force, an enchanted technique, or a power we don't possess. This is the illusion of magic, the idea that the universe responds only to the lucky or the special, leaving the rest of us struggling to make sense of our desires. In reality, this belief creates a subtle but powerful barrier. When we expect magic to do the work, we stop trusting the process that actually governs manifestation. We wait for signs, follow rituals, or chase fleeting trends, often feeling disappointed when the results don't match our effort. The problem isn't that manifestation doesn't work. It's that we've been looking for it in the wrong way with the wrong expectations. When we strip away the myths, the truth becomes startlingly simple. Manifestation is not about magic, It's about alignment. It's about the energy you carry, the clarity of your intention, and the conscious choices you make every day. The universe does not reward struggle or effort alone. It responds to resonance. It mirrors back the vibration you are holding, whether that vibration is one of doubt, fear, and scarcity, or one of confidence, trust, and abundance. This subtle but crucial distinction separates those who feel stuck from those who effortlessly attract experiences and opportunities. The old perception of magic encourages passivity. We wait for something extraordinary to happen. The new perception of manifestation requires presence. We cultivate awareness, refine our focus, and recognize that our reality is shaped by our consciousness in every moment. Consider the contrast between chasing magic and embracing alignment. Chasing magic feels exhausting. It is characterized by forcing outcomes, repeating steps mechanically, and often ignoring the inner work required to truly shift. It is a cycle of hope, disappointment, and renewed effort. Alignment, on the other hand, is effortless and natural. Feels like breathing. It does not demand struggle. When you focus on alignment, you begin to notice that small changes in your mindset, your emotions, and your attention create ripple effects throughout your life. Synchronicities start to appear, opportunities emerge in unexpected ways, and life seems to flow with less resistance. The key difference is that alignment honors the intelligence of the universe and your own consciousness, whereas magic, as most people imagine it, tries to bypass these natural principles. This illusion of magic is reinforced by a common human tendency: the desire for immediate results. We want transformation to happen quickly, dramatically, and visibly, because it validates our belief that the universe is responding to us. Yet true manifestation often operates quietly, subtly, and in ways that may not be immediately recognizable. A shift in your inner state, your beliefs, your emotions, your expectations, precedes any external change. What this means is that your success is not determined by an external spell, ritual, or formula. It is determined by the alignment you cultivate internally. The old self, obsessed with magic, measures progress by external outcomes. The new self, aware of alignment, measures progress by inner clarity, emotional resonance, and the ability to respond consciously to life. This subtle shift in perception is what separates frustration from flow. Many people have experienced this realization in small ways without even naming it. Perhaps you noticed that when you felt genuinely confident, happy, or inspired, things seemed to fall into place effortlessly. Perhaps you saw doors open when you were calm and clear about what you wanted. These are not coincidences. They are examples of alignment in action. The universe is always responding, but it responds most powerfully when you are tuned to the same frequency as your desire. Manifestation is not a mystical trick. It is a natural law. Understanding this truth is liberating because it removes the pressure to perform, to prove, or to chase results desperately. You no longer need magic. You only need presence, focus, and trust in your own ability to shape reality. By shifting your perspective from chasing magic to cultivating alignment, you begin to see that the tools for manifestation have always been within reach. Visualization, emotional resonance, attention, and conscious choice are not arcane secrets. They are principles you can practice and integrate into your life daily. The key is to release the illusion that results require extraordinary circumstances and instead focus on developing the inner state that naturally attracts what you desire. The more you embrace this understanding, the less you rely on external magic, and the more you embody the reality that you are the creator of your own experience. With this shift, what once felt impossible or mysterious now becomes natural, intuitive, and profoundly empowering. You start to live in a reality where the old struggles, doubts, and forced efforts fall away, replaced by effortless flow, inspired action, and subtle yet undeniable results. At the heart of manifestation lies a principle that many overlook, yet it is profoundly simple. You are not separate from the reality you wish to create. In fact, the way you think, feel, and perceive shapes the very fabric of your experience. This is the essence of the quantum self, the understanding that consciousness is not just a passive observer of reality, but an active participant in its creation. Imagine for a moment that every thought you have, every emotion you feel, and every belief you hold is a subtle frequency, vibrating through your life and attracting experiences that resonate with that vibration. The quantum self is the part of you that is aware of this energy, that recognizes the connection between your inner state and your external world, and that can intentionally influence the flow of reality by adjusting its own vibration. It is both liberating and empowering to realize that you have always possessed this capability. The only obstacle has been unawareness. The contrast between the old self and the quantum self is striking. The old self believes that life happens to them, that external circumstances dictate outcomes, and that control lies outside their influence. When this part of you approaches manifestation, it often relies on wishful thinking, repetitive affirmations, or external validation, hoping that the universe will somehow intervene to deliver what is desired. The quantum self, however, understands that manifestation is an inside-out process. It recognizes that the external world is a reflection, a mirror, of the internal state. In other words, nothing is out there waiting to be attained independently of who you are being in the present moment. This shift from external dependence to internal awareness is the foundation of effortless manifestation. The moment you embrace it, life ceases to feel like a series of obstacles, and instead becomes a canvas where your consciousness paints the reality you wish to experience. To fully understand the quantum self, it helps to consider the role of beliefs and emotions. Every belief you carry acts as a lens through which you perceive the world. Limiting beliefs create a narrow, often distorted reality in which possibilities feel restricted and outcomes appear scarce. Empowering beliefs, on the other hand, expand your perception and invite abundance, opportunity, and synchronicity into your experience. Emotions serve as the compass for this process. They indicate whether you are aligned with your desired reality or operating from resistance. When you feel joy, peace, confidence, or love, your vibration aligns with the frequency of creation, and manifestation flows naturally. When you feel fear, doubt, frustration, or scarcity, your vibration contracts, and the very things you resist tend to persist. The quantum self is aware of this energetic dynamic and uses it consciously, choosing thoughts and emotions that harmonize with the life it desires, rather than allowing default patterns to dictate outcomes. A key element of the quantum self is understanding that time and linear effort are not prerequisites for manifestation. Many people believe that achieving their goals requires a strict timeline, constant effort, and measurable steps. The quantum self operates differently. It recognizes that reality is not bound by the linear constraints we often impose. Manifestation can occur in ways that feel non-linear, instantaneous, or even mysterious because the alignment of consciousness with desire bypasses conventional limitations. This is not magic. It is simply the natural result of coherent vibration. When your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs are in harmony, the universe responds effortlessly. The contrast here is profound. The old self struggles with time and effort, while the quantum self trusts the process, understanding that alignment trumps force. Visualization is one of the most effective tools for activating the quantum self. By imagining your desired reality in vivid detail, engaging all your senses, and feeling the emotions associated with its fulfillment, you create a resonance that attracts those experiences into your life. Visualization is not about pretending or wishing. It is about training your consciousness to operate from the reality you want to experience as though it already exists. Through this practice, you begin to internalize the truth that your current state does not need to match your desired reality. You are not waiting for conditions to be perfect. You are learning to generate the conditions internally, which in turn influence the external world. This is the subtle, powerful work of the quantum self. It shifts perception first, allowing external circumstances to follow naturally. Another aspect of the quantum self is the recognition that observation itself affects reality. Just as in quantum physics, where the act of observing a particle can change its behavior, the awareness you bring to your thoughts and experiences subtly shapes their manifestation. When you watch your life unfold with conscious attention, without judgment or attachment to outcomes, you create space for the universe to respond. This awareness does not require constant mental effort. It is a quiet, steady presence, an open-hearted attention that allows life to flow without resistance. The contrast is clear. The old self obsesses, analyzes, and controls, while the quantum self observes, trusts, and aligns. By cultivating this state of mindful observation, you begin to notice opportunities, synchronicities, and shifts that would have otherwise gone unseen, reinforcing the sense that your consciousness is actively participating in creation. The power of the quantum self also lies in its ability to integrate both inner and outer work. While alignment, awareness, and emotional resonance are essential, practical actions rooted in inspired intuition amplify the manifestation process. These are not forced actions or mechanical steps. They are moves that feel aligned, effortless, and meaningful. The quantum self knows that manifestation is not passive. It requires engagement, but engagement from a state of clarity and flow, rather than struggle. By combining internal alignment with inspired action, you create a harmonious dance with reality, in which every movement, thought, and feeling contributes to the life you are consciously crafting. Ultimately, understanding the quantum self transforms the way you see yourself and your potential. You move from feeling like a passive observer of life to recognizing that you are a conscious creator, capable of shaping your reality in ways both subtle and profound. You learn to release the old patterns of striving, resisting, and doubting, and instead cultivate a state of being that naturally attracts the experiences, opportunities, and people aligned with your desires. The contrast between the old self and the quantum self is not just conceptual, it is lived. It is felt in your confidence, your peace, and your joy. It is seen in the synchronicities, effortless opportunities, and moments of intuitive clarity that begin to appear as you embody this understanding. By the end of this section, you should feel a deep sense of empowerment, that manifestation is not about magic or force, but about conscious alignment, that your thoughts, beliefs, and emotions are instruments through which you create your reality, and that the quantum self is a state of being accessible to anyone willing to cultivate awareness, coherence, and resonance. The next step is to translate this understanding into practical, actionable techniques that allow you to consistently experience the effortless flow of creation. Now that we have explored the principles of the quantum self and understood that manifestation is not about magic but alignment, the next step is to bring these ideas into practical application. While awareness and understanding are essential, true transformation occurs when you integrate specific practices into your daily life, allowing the energy of your consciousness to shape your reality in a consistent, effortless way. These techniques are not complex rituals or secret formulas. They are simple, repeatable practices that help you align your thoughts, emotions, and actions with the life you wish to experience. One of the most powerful tools for effortless manifestation is visualization. This practice goes beyond simply imagining a desired outcome. It is about engaging all your senses and feeling the experience as though it is already real. Picture the life you want in vivid detail. The environment, the people around you, the sounds, the smells, the textures, and most importantly, the emotions you would feel as if your reality were already manifested. The act of feeling this reality deeply creates a resonance within you that begins to ripple outward. Visualization is effective because it trains your subconscious mind, which governs the majority of your thoughts, habits, and responses. The more you practice seeing and feeling your desired reality internally, the more natural it becomes for your external world to reflect it. The old self may struggle with doubt during visualization, but the quantum self learns to let go of skepticism and immerse fully in the experience. Gratitude is another essential technique, often underestimated in its power. Gratitude is more than listing things you appreciate. It is a state of being that acknowledges the abundance already present in your life. When you consciously focus on what is already working, you shift your vibration to one of alignment and receptivity. The universe responds to this frequency by amplifying it, attracting more experiences that match the feeling of gratitude. Practicing gratitude daily, whether through journaling, meditation, or quiet reflection, helps dissolve resistance and builds momentum for manifestation. Instead of longing or focusing on what is missing, you learn to inhabit the feeling of having, which is the essence of true manifestation. Intentional attention is another cornerstone of effortless creation. This means directing your focus deliberately, choosing where to place your energy and consciousness instead of being pulled by distractions, negative thoughts, or external pressures. Attention acts like a spotlight, highlighting what you choose to nurture and bringing it into prominence in your reality. The quantum self uses attention consciously, observing which thoughts and emotions align with its desired reality and gently releasing those that do not. This practice is subtle but transformative, because it reinforces the principle that what you focus on grows, and it helps maintain clarity in the midst of everyday noise. Another powerful method is what some call feeling-based alignment. Rather than focusing solely on goals or outcomes, you focus on cultivating the emotions and internal state that corresponds with the reality you want to experience. For instance, if you desire a fulfilling career, you would first cultivate the feelings of confidence, creativity, and purpose, rather than obsessing over job titles or external achievements. When your internal state matches the frequency of your desired outcome, the external circumstances naturally follow. This technique is effective because it works from the inside out, aligning your energy with creation rather than attempting to force it externally. Releasing resistance is equally crucial. Many people unknowingly block their manifestations through doubt, fear, or attachment to specific outcomes. Letting go does not mean giving up. It means trusting the process and creating space for possibilities you may not have anticipated. Practices like meditation, breath work, or simply observing thoughts without judgment help dissolve inner resistance. When resistance is released, you move from a state of struggle to a state of flow, allowing manifestation to occur effortlessly. The contrast here is important. The old self clings, overthinks, and tries to control every detail, while the quantum self surrenders to alignment, trusting that the universe responds to coherent energy. Finally, inspired action bridges internal alignment with external reality. This is different from forced effort or mechanical steps. Inspired action arises naturally from a state of clarity, intuition, and resonance. It is the nudge that feels right, the step that seems effortless yet meaningful. Acting from this state amplifies manifestation because it integrates consciousness with tangible movement in the world. The combination of visualization, gratitude, focused attention, emotional alignment, resistance release, and inspired action creates a holistic approach to effortless manifestation, where the energy you cultivate internally flows seamlessly into the external reality you desire. Incorporating these techniques into your daily routine need not be complicated. Begin with small, consistent practices. Visualize for a few minutes each morning, journal expressions of gratitude, notice your attention throughout the day, cultivate feelings aligned with your goals, and observe where resistance arises so you can release it. Over time, these practices become second nature, and manifestation begins to feel effortless, natural, and even enjoyable. The key is consistency and presence, not perfection. By aligning with your quantum self through these practical methods, you create a life that mirrors your inner reality, where manifestation is no longer a distant dream but an ongoing, flowing experience. As we reach the close of this journey through the principles of quantum manifestation, it's important to pause and reflect on what has been shared. So much of what we believe about creation, success, and transformation has been shaped by the notion that it requires extraordinary effort, magic, or external intervention. We have been conditioned to think that the life we desire lies somewhere beyond our reach, waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect technique, or the perfect alignment of circumstances. And yet, as we've explored together, the truth is both simpler and more empowering. You have always been the source of your reality. You are not waiting for something outside yourself to change. The change begins within. This is the profound realization at the heart of quantum manifestation. The understanding that your thoughts, beliefs, emotions, and attention are the instruments through which you consciously shape your experience. Think back to the contrast we have discussed throughout this journey. The old self struggles, doubts, and chases results. It measures progress by external markers, clinging to effort and seeking validation in outcomes. The new self, the quantum self, operates from alignment, coherence, and presence. It understands that manifestation is not a battle to be won but a dance to be embraced. It recognizes that your inner state dictates your outer reality, and that by cultivating clarity, emotional resonance, and focused attention, you naturally invite experiences that reflect your highest desires. This shift in perception is not merely intellectual, it is deeply embodied. It is felt in the calm that replaces anxiety, in the confidence that replaces doubt, and in the joy that arises when life begins to flow effortlessly rather than resisting every step. At this stage, it is essential to internalize the idea that manifestation is not a one-time event. It is a continuous process, a dynamic interplay between your consciousness and the world around you. Every thought you entertain, every emotion you allow, and every action you take contributes to this ongoing creation. When you align with the principles we have explored, visualization, gratitude, focused attention, emotional alignment, release of resistance, and inspired action, you are not just creating isolated outcomes. You are cultivating a life of consistent alignment, where opportunities, synchronicities, and meaningful experiences naturally arise. The process becomes self-reinforcing. As you notice the flow of manifestation, your confidence deepens, your awareness sharpens, and your ability to maintain alignment grows stronger. In essence, you begin to embody the very energy that brings your desires into form. It is equally important to remember that this journey is gentle, not forceful. The quantum self does not rely on struggle or frantic effort. It observes, adjusts, and flows. It trusts the intelligence of the universe while simultaneously taking inspired action rooted in clarity and intuition. This balance between trust and engagement is the hallmark of effortless manifestation. By embracing this approach, you shift from a mindset of scarcity and struggle to one of abundance and ease. You learn to see challenges not as obstacles but as reflections of misalignment, providing opportunities to recalibrate and return to your natural state of flow. In doing so, you transform both your inner world and the outer world it reflects. As you move forward from this moment, it is essential to integrate these insights into your daily life. Begin by observing your thoughts and emotions, noting where alignment is present and where resistance arises. Practice visualization and feeling-based alignment regularly, cultivating the emotional state that corresponds to your desired reality. Express gratitude both for what already exists and for what is on its way. Direct your attention intentionally, allowing it to focus on what supports your highest vision. And take inspired actions that feel natural, joyful, and aligned, trusting that each step contributes to the manifestation of your intentions. Over time, these practices become habitual, and the life you imagine shifts from possibility into reality. Finally, remember that the most profound power you possess is the ability to embody your own creation. The magic you have been seeking externally has always been within you. Every thought, every emotion, and every moment of conscious awareness carries the potential to shape your life. By stepping fully into the quantum self, you move from waiting and striving into living and creating. You become the conscious participant in your own reality, the observer and the creator simultaneously. Life ceases to feel random or unpredictable. It becomes a reflection of your inner clarity, coherence, and alignment. This is the culmination of what it means to manifest effortlessly. A life lived in harmony with your consciousness, flowing naturally and full of opportunities, abundance, and joy. You do not need magic. You need alignment, awareness, and trust in the infinite potential within you. Begin now, and watch as the world around you gracefully shifts to match the reality you are already holding within.